everyone. Welcome to our very first episode of the Dealing with Loss series. With me here is Talegwe. I call her Talegwe, and she'll be answering a couple of questions and just talking about grief and how she has dealt with the loss of her mom. Now, before we start, I would like to say that it's interesting for us to be doing this because Aita and myself lost our moms within the space of 2 months. So Aita lost her mom in January, and then I lost my mom in March. It's also interesting to note here that when Aita lost her mom, my mom and I were like, I paid them a visit and a condolence visit, and of course it was a sad event for the both of us. Aita and I were neighbors many years ago, and so it was a sad event for my mom and I. And interestingly, at that visit, my mom did not know that she was going to be going, like leaving this world in a couple of months. But yeah, let's jump into it. I will start asking Aita some questions, and hopefully she can share with us how she has been able to deal with grief and what she has done, and then some advice to people who are currently dealing with loss and grief. So Aita, welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm grateful that you're able to honor this invitation. It's not easy to talk about and speak about grief and speak about loss, and so I really appreciate it that you took the time to prepare for it and then to join me today. So,
You're welcome.
I'd like to say, like, who did you lose? I know I had mentioned that you lost your mom, so, but yeah, you lost your mom, and then when was this?
I lost my mom January 8th, 2009, actually.
And
Yeah,
that's how many years ago?
about 14 years
14
ago.
years ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And how old were you when she passed?
23 years old.
Wow,
I
that's
was
pretty
23.
young.
Yes,
Yeah.
relatively young.
Relatively young. You were just starting your adulthood life, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
How did you react when you first heard the news? Like, where were you? Where were you? What were you doing when you heard the news?
I remember that my sister had just given birth, and I was to go with her to the hospital for her daughter's immunization. And then we were outside already, about almost approaching the car, and we saw her twin sister and my other elder sister, and they just said, and their look, because we knew my mom hadn't really been feeling well, but it was nothing that we had not probably seen before. So we were not expecting them to just tell us. They just said it that way. There was no preamble. They were already broken. They started crying. You could see they were trying to keep themselves or hold themselves together, but maybe when they saw us, they just lost it and they started crying. And they said, "Oh, mom is dead." And I don't know. From there, it was just wailing galore, avalanche of tears, screaming, wailing. At that point, I think I was more. I won't say if I won't say I was in so much shock that I couldn't express myself. I remember vividly just crying. I sat down outside the house because from inside the house, like everybody just had their different sections, not like we were crying together. You could just hear
Mhm.
wailing, you could hear screaming. And I think the most heartbreaking or gut wrenching for me was my dad. I can count in my the number of times I'd seen my dad express himself like that. And to hear a grown man screaming, as in he was in the
Oh,
room,
God.
the door was locked. I could just hear him shouting. That I don't even know what's damaged me. Like dealing with hearing that news and then hearing my dad. No, it was terrible. It was very bad. It's not a day I like to remember, but it was bad. Yeah.
Wow, that must have been tough. So when you met your sisters, was it outside the house or was it in the house? Because you said you were going to the
Yeah,
hospital.
so we were outside the house. We parked the car outside. I forgot to say the car
Yeah.
was outside, so we were going to the hospital outside. It was my sister was carrying her baby, so but luckily she didn't drop the baby.
Oh my
She came to my house because the plan was when my mom wasn't around at that time. She had traveled. The plan was that she would just be in the house pending when my mom got back, so my mom could do the omugo things in our own house. Yeah,
God.
but that never
Never
happened.
happened. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, thank you.
Okay. What does grief look like to you? Like since that time, it's been 14 years. Like what does it look like to you? How has it felt like? And we'll get to the third point of what was the surprising factor for you. But yeah, let's start with what does grief look like to you and how has it felt like for the past 14 years?
So for me, grief is an overwhelming sense of loss. And it's not like when you lose an item and you know there's hope of finding it again.
Mm,
It's the realization that you will never physically see this person or be with this person, and that causes pain. I call it pain, even though not physical pain. I call it soul searing pain. And this feeling of like I said, loss, uh it's not something that you would ever really, I don't know, people say things like you get used to the pain. I would say, I don't know if I would just call it avoidance. The way I have been coping, and I know probably we'll get to that, how I've been coping, is because to deal with this loss, this sense of loss, I do not just allow myself feel. It may not be healthy, but it's how I've been getting by. Um, So yes, grief is pain. It's pain because as a believer, I know I'm a Christian and I know that yes, I'll get to see her someday, but I don't know when that will be. And because I don't know when that will be, it's just still there's still this deep disconnection, this feeling of despair. So grief,
yeah.
I don't see any positive side to grief. I can't, I haven't been able to figure out what is the upside of feeling the way that I felt and the way I've felt over the years on my siblings. Yes, so that's what I would say.
That's I like what you said. You said like there's no positive side, and then there's a disconnect. Yes, we're Christians, and they say, "Oh, do not mourn like the pagans." But the truth is, how do pagans mourn? Like we're all going through grief and a deep sense of loss. So, like, we cannot. But and you mentioned something about physical pain. I feel like for me, I felt this physical
Physical
pain in my
pain.
heart because my chest, so I had this heavy lump in my heart
Hmm.
that was almost feeling like I was having heart pain, like chest
Pain.
pain. Yeah, so it's interesting, and then the disconnect with our religion, with the things that we grew up believing, and then with the fact that yeah, are we going to see them again? Even when we see them again, are we going to see them in person? Like with how they were? I doubt we're going to see them the way they were physically, right? So it's painful. It's really painful. I don't even, and I also something that you mentioned is you haven't allowed yourself to feel, and that's I think one of the coping mechanisms that a lot of us have had to deal with, or many people have had to deal with, just to move on with life. You at that point in your life, where what like career wise, education wise, where were you at that point?
I think I was in my 300, I was in 300 level, year three, out of 6 years. I was about to go into four, if I remember correctly. There's this thing of, so even when I went back to school, some of my colleagues had already heard, and then people are looking at you with empathy or pity, and then you just somehow you feel alone because you don't want to put your grief, your like the way you're feeling, you don't want to wear it on your face that everybody should know something is wrong with you. On the other hand, it's like, how is life going? How are you able to move on like normal? Because things are not normal anymore for me anyway. So yeah, I
Exactly.
was in school, I was in university at that time.
Okay, why I asked that question because it meant that you couldn't pause your life, right?
Nope,
So you couldn't
nope,
just stay in one place and say, okay, I'm going to be at home and just keep crying. I'm just going to keep
no.
crying till I feel better. You had to move on with your life. You had to go back to school. And that, again, must have been why you just had to choose not feeling over feeling because you
Yeah,
had your life
because
to live, right?
I think, yes, I think when people say life goes on, it's kind of like what they mean. Unless for people who will just totally, some people will actually shut down and then just stay inside until sometimes they even die. I've heard of that because the will to go on, the will to eat, the will to survive. I just want to chip in here. It's probably off course, but
Mm,
I there's a memory that stayed with me. Is that the memory that stayed with me for that day when I heard the news is I didn't want to eat. I was very hungry. I still say I feel like my body betrayed me. Like I was wishing that I would not want to eat or drink. I felt like for this type of news, why should I eat? I don't need sustenance of any kind. But then my in-laws were around and they got food for us from one fast food and they mandated that we ate. I remember it was jollof rice and I felt so guilty because I ate every single thing. I will never forget it. I felt so bad. And then it was looking as if they I needed prodding to eat. But if I was being honest, I was so hungry. I ate all the chicken, I ate all the rice, and I felt like, oh my goodness, I've just lost a part of me and I'm able
I
to
can't
eat.
eat. That
How can
guilt.
I eat? What am I eating? Why am I even finishing? It's something I
Yeah.
remember and I'm like, oh no. Truly,
Yeah,
truly, your body has been created. You will still live. It may feel like the end of the world at that time, but it's not the end of the world. You still talk, you still laugh. And I found that for months after that, whenever I caught myself actually laughing and having fun, I felt guilty.
hmm.
Like there was this, why am I laughing? What's funny?
What's funny?
What's funny in this life right now? But
Yeah.
that's just life. I think that's what when people say you will move on, you will get better. I think that's what people mean because you
Mm,
actually find yourself doing these things that
yeah.
you probably
Normally
thought
do.
yes, and you
Mm,
thought, oh, my life is now over. I won't be able to do these things anymore. But you'll be able
yeah.
to do them. Yeah,
Yes, yes. And that's the thing, right? It's actually counterproductive in the sense that grief, you want to be thinking about your person. You want to be thinking about consistently because that's how you feel better. You want to be thinking about them. You want to be crying. That's what you
I'm
feel like doing.
telling you.
But
Yes,
life is such a way that you have to eat, you have to bath, you have to. And again, because we're also Christians, we thank God for the grace to be able
exactly.
to do some of those things because
Very true.
many other people will just shut down, like you said, and we thank God that we're able to, at least you were able to go back to school. Yeah,
Yes.
like your life already changed from the moment you lost your mom. So there's no like we can't say your life did not change. No, we know that your life changed. You know that your
Mhm.
life changed, even
Yeah.
though you had to move forward with your
Yeah.
school and with life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to bring up a situation about my own when you said something, but let me just chip it in here. I remember when I heard my mom died. I remember that I was crying so much that they now had to put somebody had to put like Lexotan, it's a sleeping pill for those of you who are watching, in my drink. And then but they hid it. But when I
Oh,
caught
just to
them,
calm you.
just to calm me and make me sleep. When I caught them and I saw that that's what they were doing, I became hysterical and I started saying, "Oh my gosh, you want me to sleep? Why would I sleep?" Like I was so hysterical. I'm like, "Oh, you don't want me to cry for my mom. You don't want me to cry." And then they were so confused, right? So I knew I had to sleep. I had been crying all day, but
Yeah.
I did not want to sleep because I'm like, why should I sleep?
Why did you sleep?
So yeah,
Yeah.
it just reminded me of that. But yeah, let's go on. This is about you, not me today. So let's go on to the next question. So how has grief impacted your life?
How has grief impacted my life? I think for one thing, I have learned that we need to treasure every moment we have with the people we call our loved ones, because life is fickle. Yes, as a Christian, I'll say, oh, my life is long and beautiful. But my mother's life was not long as she should have lived, right? So it's to treasure each moment. I think I'm more conscious now of the the frailty of life in terms of here today, gone tomorrow.
Hmm.
So there's no time for grudges. I think I am now more able to it's still a work in progress, but to let go more easily, like because you never can say, and you don't want to be filled with regrets. I'm blessed that I don't have regrets concerning my mom in terms of what I would have how I would have loved her more. If at all, what I miss out on things I would have loved to do for her, not in
Mm.
terms of our relationship, just in terms of what I would have now that I'm done with school or I'm working or I have kids, those type of things, but not there's no regret in how our relationship was.
And
So
that's a
grief,
blessing, right?
it's a
That's a
blessing.
blessing
Oh
because a
yes,
lot of people have
yes,
regrets in terms of loving their person and how they should love. So that's a blessing, and I'm just going
yes.
to say that your
I'm
mom also has
grateful.
that.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm grateful for that. So I'll say generally, or in summary, grief has made me, the loss of my mom and the grief that followed has made me more appreciative of what we have, what we can give, what we have, to treasure what I have. That's how I'll put it.
And that's a good thing, like because really life, we never know. We are here today, we're gone tomorrow. So it's a good lesson. I'm sure it's also an intentional reminder for yourself, like as
Yes,
humans we forget, right?
yes,
Um,
yes,
so
yes.
yeah, it's something that. So yeah, thank you. How has grief impacted your family? You have now before your new family, you have your sisters who you both shared your mom. Like you both
Mhm.
had, not you both, you all shared the same mom. So how, before I come to your new family, how the grief impact that family?
I would say we've always been a pretty close knit family. We share a very strong bond, and then I would like to say here that we all um we all responded in different ways. Generally, we cry together, we mourn together, but I see because of our lives individually, without my mother, it has affected some of us. I won't say more than the others, but in terms of decisions that some of us have made, as a family together, I would like to believe that my mom's passing brought us closer. Yes,
Hmm,
families have squabbles. My family, of course, siblings. We once in a while we have issues and all of that, but
absolutely.
the reminder of how, because my mom was alive when we used to have quarrels then. I remember her vividly saying, you guys are blood, you people have each other. This is like trying to pull us, get us back to our senses. So there's that still that constant reminder when we're having issues or when two people are having problems, or there's just this, somebody will just chip it in. Mommy won't be happy about this. Remember, there's this, in the end, we want to stay strong, stronger for her, even more, will I say, stronger for my dad, because he's, yeah.
Mm,
So it brought us closer, and we learned to. My dad has always been our person, our guy, our G. We were very close to our dad, but this even made us appreciate him more, because we now that we have spouses, right? It's hard to it's like I say it's easier to say, to see what my daddy must have passed through at that time, and
yeah,
still standing strong.
yeah.
So it makes us revere him more. And then the common love for father, for mother, I can say the grief actually brought us closer.
Hmm.
Yes, the loss of my mom has made us more close knit than we were. We've always been close, like I said, but this actually, because we've mourned together. I don't know if there's anything more, like when you share, you were born from the same mother. That's already a bond,
Mm-hmm.
and then you now lose that person that was almost at the epicenter of your lives. There's no way that you will not, no matter whatever squabbles you have, you will not still want to gravitate back to each other. I don't
Yeah.
know. It has just brought us closer, Sha. That's how I feel.
I would say that's a blessing as well. You
It
know why?
is. I
I would
know
say
why. I know
exactly. I
why.
would say
I
that's a
know
blessing,
why.
and I would say that like you are indeed blessed to have, firstly had people to share in your grief and in your loss, of course, in different ways because
Mhm.
all of you had different relationships with your mom,
Mom, yeah.
But it's also a blessing. I would say it's a blessing to have had them, to turn to and to share, to talk about the memories of your mom together, all those things. It's a blessing because we've heard of families that, just by losing their loved one, or the person that was the connection just
Yeah.
made the the family like scatter,
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
literally. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
kudos to you guys for keeping
Thank
to,
you.
and I'm sure that your mom is super super proud of you guys,
I
and
hope so.
how you. No, I'm sure she is.
I
I
hope
know what
so.
you mean, what you mean by I hope so, right? But like if she sees, like they say, I'm sure she's super proud of how you guys have kept together. Of course, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to do better, but I'm sure
Yeah.
she's proud of that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Um, did you, so at the time of the loss, did you have the support of your family and friends? Now you had the support of your siblings, so your nuclear family, your immediate
Mm-hmm.
family. Did you
Mm-hmm.
have the support of extended family? Did you have the support of friends? So when I say friends, your mom's friends, your friends, and your siblings' friends, like your dad's friends. Did you have, you can just talk about it, share in the way that you want.
Do you
And
know,
please feel free to, I know that this is like a live video, so you might want to be diplomatic, but again, it depends on what you're comfortable sharing.
okay. So, I remember on my mother's Thanksgiving mass after the burial. I was with another friend of mine who had lost her mom when we were in school in a very sad way. And then one of my dad's friends made a comment and he said, "Oh, look at the motherless kids." He didn't mean it, he said it flippantly and he just laughed. I don't think he meant it as uh motherless kids to make us cry.
Yeah.
It's just that, oh, now they are together, they share a
Mhm.
bond.
Mhm.
So I'm saying that because I found that for my friends, for example, I
Mhm.
have friends that have lost one parent. I think they found it easier. Luckily for me, though, I have a good. My friends are amazing. The friends I used to work with, my circle of friends, and
Mhm.
then so for the ones that had lost a parent, they could empathize. They had things to say. They could share from their own experiences. And
Mhm.
then the ones that hadn't lost a parent, you could see that they were sort of scared. Or I don't know how. I think it's that kind of feeling that, oh, this can happen to you at any time. You know, I think it made them a bit scared, but they still showed, put on a bold face for me.
That's good.
Somebody told me something then that this will never happen to you again. And I took that to heart. You will never have to fear the 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 how would I put it now? Nobody ever come to tell you that your mom is dead. It can never happen again.
Because it
The
has
way you
happened.
felt, yes. So there's some people that still have their parents sometimes are just thinking, oh, like the same thing I feel that way for my dad sometimes, when you say, oh my goodness, this person, I'm going to go through this again. This person's going to leave someday.
Yes, I don't want to
But
go through it
I
again.
don't want to go, yes. But for my mom, I know that, okay, I will never know that pain, exact that pain I felt when I heard that news. I will never feel it again. My dad's friends, they showed support for him the best way they could. Church members were there for my dad. Funny enough, that was ironic, and we're very grateful because he wasn't part of any society in the church, but they just rallied around him. They came, and that even made him want to join, like the Catholic Men organization. He now started doing things in church that he wasn't doing hitherto. And then my extended family is dicey in the sense that I have a bad memory. I'm going to say it here. Maybe people can borrow a leaf from that. I still say it. I don't understand that culture. I don't understand why you go to the house of the bereaved on the day that you hear the news, or maybe the next day, and then you still expect the people. I know it's probably normal for some people, but for me, it rubbed me the wrong way. Where I had to go buy food, and I will never forget. I had to go buy fish and chicken to come home to cook for guests coming to tell me sorry that I lost my mom. I will never understand it. Nobody can convince me on why I had to do that. And it
Yeah.
was funny because the news had already spread. So as I was walking along to go buy the food and buy chicken, and I will never forget chicken
And
and fish, people kept on saying,
oh
sorry, oh,
God.
sorry, sorry. I won't forget that. I just
Uh,
needed time. I wanted to be alone to nurse my pain.
mhm.
But you're compelling me because people were coming to the house to
Mhm.
cook, to have food for them. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why? What do they need? Why did they, why do we need to do that? I know
Yeah.
in some cultures, people that are coming to you even say, "Oh, commensurate or pay condolence visits," they actually come with something so
They
that the
come with,
family doesn't have to think about that.
yes. That
So
should be the rule.
yes, that rubbed me the wrong way for some extended family. And
Mm.
then there was somehow people that we were really close to actually, uh in terms of extended family, just didn't show up. But I've never held it against them because I don't know their reasons. And now that I'm older, I'm really, really less prone to being judgy or being judgmental. So
Mhm.
I would- I just noticed that there were some certain relationships that were really strong before my mom passed. And then when she passed, you would think that that's when they will be. I started hearing things like, oh, they didn't want to come around because the pain was too much. They couldn't handle being in her house and not seeing her, you
Really?
know. Oh,
That's
well,
that's so ridiculous.
yeah.
Wow.
So
But and they
that
didn't
one I
think
just,
about her children and her family. Do you
uh,
think that they needed to? But yeah, I can we can speak for the next one day talking about family and how they act or they acted during we can
yeah,
so let's not go into the details because
uh-huh,
we have other
uh-huh.
things to go. But yeah, but this is just for those who are watching, this is just to say that sometimes you lose some of your close loved ones just because of, and that's also adds to your grief. You
Yeah,
also
because you
had,
don't know why. You can't even understand what's happening. Why am I not seeing this person? Or why can't this person say, how are you doing? Or something. Yes. And then just to chip in, no expectations because people will disappoint you. If you think that the world will suddenly stop or people will suddenly revere you or hold you as in like an egg just because you will be sorely disappointed, and that can cause you more grief like you said, or even
mhm,
make you start having grudges or enmity against somebody. So no
mhm,
expectations.
mhm.
It's your time, it's your person, it's you. It's all about you basically in this.
Yeah.
And
I also find that a lot of us or a lot of people who are grieving do not really have like our expectations are really really very low to be honest. It's not as if we're expecting people to come and like give us $1 million or give just the basic expectation of, oh, just call up, check up on me and check up on
mhm,
how I am doing.
yeah.
But yeah, even as basic as that, you'll be surprised how much people just, it's not their person, so they've moved
Mhm,
on. And yeah, but that's sad, that's hurtful, that adds to grief, that adds to the pain that you feel as well, especially if you loved them.
mhm.
Okay, so do you think you lost, okay, this I think we've talked about that. Do you think you lost or gained friends and family members? Yeah, we've talked about you lost some, you probably gained some, your dad
I
gained
won't say
some.
I won't say I gained family members, even extended. I would
Okay.
say I lost some, and then after some time over the years, they found their way back.
Mm,
But my friends just remained the same. I won't say I
mm,
gained friends as a result, or yeah, but
okay.
mhm,
Okay, and then talking about extended family coming back, when they came back, like I've had to cut off from a lot of extended family and it has stayed that way. And then when I saw that, like I have seen requests from them and I've shut down those requests. Some I have, entertained, but with caution. With
mhm,
caution.
mhm.
Others I have just shut out, and I'm fine with that. How was that for you? That dynamic. So
I
people
think
that came back after years, like, did you roll your eyes
you
and
say why? Okay,
mhm,
I think maybe because of my dad. My dad has always been big on, oh, forgive and then family. They're still your family. They're still your family regardless. So when we saw that he was very welcoming, at first we were like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Experience should have shown you that they can be relied on, right? But
mhm,
he just kept on saying, "No, leave that for God. They are back for a reason." And then so we just went ahead, went along with it. For
hmm,
me, I'm the last child, so I'm barely in the forefront of all of these things,
drama,
and yeah, so I'm least known, let me put it that way. So I didn't really have a
which
lot
is
to
better for
deal
you.
with. I didn't have a lot to deal with. like that. I would say that, like, at my wedding, some of them showed up, and I was glad. Not overly excited, or, but it was just, I was just glad. Like,
Okay.
they came. Wow,
Yeah. Okay.
that's thoughtful. Yeah,
Okay.
like my dad told them, and they actually honored his invitation. So
Okay.
that's good. That's good, and that was good for my dad as well, because it showed that, okay, we have family from this side. It's
Ah,
not just, yeah. He
yeah,
wanted that
yeah.
thing of, yeah, as in family. Okay,
Mhm.
so it was
That's
okay.
magnanimous of you. I don't think I have gotten to that point where I'll be
Maybe
celebrating.
someday.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
All right. What advice? Yeah, we've got to the last one. So yeah, what advice do you have for others dealing with grief, dealing with loss, and dealing with just the pain that comes with grief and every other thing that comes with grief? Yeah. What's your advice?
I would say that, if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, hold on to God. You may find it a little bit pretentious, because you may be having asking yourself questions like, why did he let this happen in the first place? But you'll find that, if you the more you hold strongly, even if it's just to cry and say, I can't do this, I need you, you find that you're able to cope. You somehow don't feel
Cool.
alone. Yes, you won't feel that sense of loneliness. And then, mourn the way you want to mourn. People will tell you different things. Nobody can be in your shoes. Nobody can actually feel what you're feeling. Even if you were a twin, I don't believe it will be exactly the same. So
Okay.
you do you. If people are offering help, people are offering some form of maybe
Or
consolation, or yes, I think it's gracious to receive it, but don't feel pressured to. So for example, people are sending you messages, people are calling you. If you're not in the right frame of mind to answer your calls or reply messages, don't. Eventually, when you get around to doing that, your people who really have your best interests at heart would understand why you were incommunicado for a bit. You needed that time. I'm just saying, take that time to refresh. Whatever you need to come out stronger, just do it, regardless of what people will say. And I know you asked about people going through grief, but I want to say, for people who do not know what to do when, like, a family member loses a loved one, sometimes your presence is just enough. It's Be a listener. If they want to talk, let them talk. If they ask questions, answer. And if you don't have anything to say, just stay there. Just be there. Be there. Just send a message. I'm here for you. I'm praying for you. Nobody, like you said, we don't really expect something great. We don't expect that you come with money, loads of money, or you
buy
just want to
cars and
suddenly pay
houses
my
for
school
us.
fees. Oh yes, or you want to suddenly sponsor my child or something. It's the little things that count. And the thing is, when somebody is grieving, these little things are actually big things. And it's the same, you don't really forget. Don't forget, we don't forget. Like, you see now, the little things that I remember, like somebody
Yeah.
telling me to buy food and cater to people coming to the house. We don't
Yeah.
forget things. So little things that you do add up. Add up. That's what I'll say.
Okay, thank you so much. Tell us about your
A
person
pleasure. Oh,
and what favorite memory you have of them. I mean, this is a broad question. I'm sure you can go on
oh
and
my
on and on
goodness, yes.
talking about
Yes.
her. But yeah, just briefly tell us about her and what favorite. Maybe you want to start with what favorite memory you have of her, or just generally, however you want to answer.
Okay, so my mom. My mom was special. She was She was generous. I remember her for her generosity. You cannot not her talk about her and talk about how generous she was. She was selfless. She's that kind of person that would nothing was too much for her to do for you. That kind of person, champion your cause. And then what I remember most about my mom, my fondest memory, my mom started teaching me songs from her when she was in primary school. She just remember random songs, and she used to sing them. It was funny because most of the words she had forgotten, and so she would just fix something in there. And it always used to make me laugh. I'm like, how can this be true? And she would say she's telling me this is how they used to sing it, how many years ago. I
I
loved when
try.
she I
I can
loved when
imagine
she
her voice. She just said it there. I can imagine her saying,
I'm
"Leave me
telling
alone."
you. I'm telling you. I loved when she used to tell me about her own childhood. When she used to tell me about her escapades. You know, her daddy was a military man, some of the things she did. Even when she used to tell me about her toasters that year, people that used to ask her out. I love those conversations. We started having deep conversations as I could tell her anything. And I treasure those memories. In fact, I realized that when I was in school, I lost my phone that had our text messages, and that was a blow because she can just randomly send you a message and say, "My baby, I called you, you didn't pick up my call. Are you upset with me?" Just to make me laugh. Like, from where? How? She was just she was just too sweet. She loved cooking. She loved cooking. It's always as if there's a party in my house because of the pots we used to use to cook.
Mhm.
She loved cooking. She loved giving our neighbors food. Yeah. Uh, I don't like to. Yeah, I don't. Wait. I'm laughing so I don't cry.
It's
I don't
okay.
like
It's
to
okay.
actually.
It's okay. You want to cry, but let me chip in here. I remember her. I remember you talk about generosity. I remember that I used to be happy to go on errands for her because I was sure that I was going to get. I mean, as a child, I was sure that
Okay.
mommy was going to give me change.
Change.
That one was like a sure banker. So yes, that's one. And then talking about stories. Oh my gosh, I remember her talking to Poppy Lou. Now, Poppy Lou was one of their dogs. So passionately. And then I remember going into the house and I mean, mommy, who are you talking to? She said, Poppy Lou. I just dey talk. I said, how can you be talking to the dog? Like, I thought it was someone else. That's how passionate she can get, right? So
Yeah.
I can imagine her saying stories. And yeah,
Sorry.
I just thought about it. I thought I should chip that in.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful to remember.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
can't forget that. I can't forget that. And I remember a story. So I remember a story and it's still in my head that she shared with me. I'm not going to say the story here, but that story that she shared with me for me is when I pray for her, I remember that story and but it also how would I say it? It also helps me understand her better and it also helped me like it kind of built my bond our bond
Oh, okay. Okay.
it draw me
I get that.
closer to her and I remember that story from time to time and I just wish that I could see her. You know, when you just wish that you can see, I just wish that I could see her and then just say, look, oh, look at this thing, refer back to that story. And
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it is what it is. I can't see her. Hopefully, maybe sometime in I don't know, we'll be able to.
Hopefully, by
Mm-hmm,
God's
we'll be
grace.
able to. But yes, she was such a beautiful soul, and
Thank
I
you.
hope that
Thank you.
I hope that you remember some of these traits and I hope that in your own life too you are able to do some of the things that she you know did in her own time. Okay, we're just going to go to the game of choice quickly. We
Mm-hmm.
spent a long time here already, but yeah, I expected that because I mean we can't talk about our person in just a few minutes,
Yes. Yes.
so yeah, let's play this game of choice. So you choose between one of the things that I'll say and the other thing. So yes, the first one is grief ends versus grief never ends. Which would you pick?
Grief never ends.
Grief never ends. We move on versus we never do.
That's a tricky one.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can answer it with words.
I would say when you say moving on is relative, like you live your life, but it's never the same, right? You're not stuck where you were when you heard the news or the first year, for example, but you keep living. That's what I'm saying is when I say that it's relative, it's like you the fact that you're not stuck there doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you've completely moved on.
Yeah.
That's how I can put it.
Perfect. We heal completely versus we heal in bits but never completely.
We heal in bits, but never completely.
Good. It happened for a reason versus there can never be a logical reason.
Because I'm a Christian.
I knew you were going to bring up the Christian.
That's why I'll say it happened for a reason. What that reason is, I have no clue. But
Okay. Yeah, so if as a Christian now,
mhm,
someone comes, like Jesus appears now and says this is the reason, do you think you would ever think it was logical?
yes, because it's coming from my creator.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Okay. From the Christian perspective. Okay. Do you dream of your loved one versus never dream of them? Would you like to dream of them? Do you even dream of her?
I dream of her, but the thing is, I would like to dream of her as she was. The dreams are or however she is now. I just have weird dreams. It's not the type of dreams that I would love to
Love
have.
to her, so you rather not
Yes,
have them.
those type of dreams. I'd rather
Mm.
have dreams of maybe memories. Oh, we're doing something together, or how she is now. Oh, I'm enjoying wherever I am, or something, or coming to tell me what is going to happen in the future.
I know, right? So she could see the future for
I'm
us.
telling you.
I know.
Yeah.
That'd be very
Because I
interesting.
actually heard that there are people who say they actually there's somebody I saw a post and she was talking about her experiences, how before things happen, her mom comes to tell her. I'm like, what's my mom doing? She's
Yeah,
sleeping. Tell
so
me.
I have that. I have something like that actually, something
That's
similar.
beautiful.
But not that she comes to tell me like categorically this is what is going to happen. But when I am about to make a big decision in my life, it has happened not once, not twice. She's there. So example, when I was going to America, I was thinking of going to America. I hadn't gotten my admission. I hadn't gotten my visa yet. But I had a dream where she showed up and my mom, she was having a bath. And she was saying, "Oh, hurry up, hurry up. We have to get to the airport early. We have to get." I'm like, "You hurry up. You're just having your bath. You hurry up." And then she talked about, "Yeah, you have to go." So that dream was for me a
A sign to just
sign
go.
to say that it was going to happen, so to speak. And that has happened several times. So when I'm about to make a big decision, it's not like I'm praying, I'm sitting down and saying, "Oh, I want to see her now." But it comes up. And I'm grateful for that. And I hope it will be more anyways, because we make so many decisions in our life.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
talking
too.
about that. So if you had an opportunity to speak with them, I forgot to ask this question. What would you tell them?
All that I've been doing, I'll say, okay, first of all, did you see all that I've been doing? Are you aware of what I've done? Do you know I have two beautiful daughters now? Do
Oh,
you know how they are? And yes, I married Sheson. Remember, you told me I'll marry Sheson. I'm married to Sheson. Did you know? Uh-huh. I'll tell her that. I'll tell
that's
her,
good.
yeah, that daddy has been wonderful. He misses you every day. And he hasn't moved on. Yes, he doesn't have another wife. It's been 14 years. And sometimes you talk to him. You should be talking to him if you're not talking to him. Just talk to him and
Mm,
help him with whatever it is that he wants you to help him with.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Oh, you're not only thinking about yourself, you're thinking about daddy. That's so
Yeah.
sweet. Okay, have them back versus never have them back.
Now, this question is a bit, I will have her back, definitely.
Hmm.
But the thing is, would I get to choose how to have her back? Because my mom suffered a lot of illnesses, and I
Mm.
don't, and then one of the consolations that I was taking from her passing was the fact that no more
You'll
asthmatic
be free.
attacks, no more, yes. So if she's going to come back exactly the same way she was, I don't know if she would even want that because of all of
Mm.
that. But if I'm being selfish, anyhow if she wants to come back the same, I don't mind. I
Oh.
don't mind. Yes,
Mm.
that's it.
Mm. Yeah, that's tough to hear you say that. Yeah, that's tough. Okay. I still have so many unanswered questions versus the divine has shown me in different ways why they took them. Have
I
you
still have,
received
I
vision?
still have, I still have no, no, I still have unanswered questions. Maybe the divine has been trying to show me, but I'm not even listening or
Like
looking.
I'm rolling my eyes.
I still have
I'm rolling
unanswered.
my eyes at the divine, like duh.
Maybe, maybe, maybe they try to show me, but I haven't yet seen it.
You haven't yet. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Taligwe. We have come to the
Thank
end of the
you,
question and
Malodi. Thank
answer
you.
session. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to share with us. I'm hoping, it is my hope that, just by sharing, you help someone out there who is dealing with grief and loss. And it's my hope that, God sends you comfort and continues to console you in different aspects of your life, continue to
Amen.
give you great memories of your mom,
Amen. Amen.
and yeah, it's been good having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Malu. And I pray the same for you too.
Thank
we know
you.
we know
Thank
our
you.
story, so I pray the same for you. I pray the
Thank
same. I pray
you.
you get comfort too when you need it, how you need it.
Thank you.
In
Thank you.
the
And
name
talking
of
about
Jesus.
motherless babies, right? It's something that I actually joke about. So yeah, cheers to motherless babies.
Cheers. Oh, thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for this series because it will do more than because people will say there are different experiences, right? And then it
Yeah,
will help. It will help a lot. I told you when you told me about this series that I haven't
yeah,
allowed myself think about these things. So having to
yeah.
answer and prepare for this, yes, I had to dig deep.
Made you introspect. Yeah,
Yes, yes. And
yeah.
it's good.
And
It's
then I
good.
like it. I my idea is some people think that they're just crazy, right? Some of the things that they go through by
Yeah,
they think that they're just mad, they're just crazy. But in actual fact, when they hear somebody else is going through the
going through the
same
same
or
thing.
something similar,
Oh
it helps
yeah.
them say, "Oh, I'm not alone." And that's the point of this whole thing, to show people that you're not alone in your grief, you're not alone with your loss, and yeah. We're hoping that we grow the community in a way. And I'm hoping that we get to a point where we can even help people seek therapy. We can help
Okay.
people seek
Oh,
help.
that's beautiful.
We can
Yeah.
help people. Yeah, but yeah, baby steps. Baby
That's
steps.
that's beautiful. Well done. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you. Have a
Take
good
care.
evening.
You too. Bye.